Good afternoon, English class online. I'm excited to speak about Edward Scissorhands, and I'm excited to share my presentation with you all. I hope you guys had as much fun watching Edward Scissorhands as much as I did. I'm a little bit nervous, I'll put it out there, but let's get started, okay? I'm going to look at my presentation now. Okay. So, the supporting actress Peg, I believe she's the one who helped reel me into the movie and helped me just get excited about the movie right out the front, right out the bat, I guess. Um, I think just her perseverance, even though her personality is really like she's really soft spoken and just you can tell she's a nice person, but she's very diligent and she's gonna sell that makeup. So I like that, and I think um, her going knocking on the neighbors' doors while they're pretty much really rude, and but that didn't stop her, and she didn't give up. So I think her being the number one supporting actress in this movie, it helped me a lot to just stay interested in this movie. I did watch this movie about 10 years ago when I was a child, but watching it now, it had, I guess, a whole new meaning for me, and I didn't see it in the same light as I do now. Okay. The main character, Edward Scissorhands, I believe he was casted as the black sheep, and that's because the society he lived in, they just looked at his physical appearance. They didn't see the soft heartedness of his personality and of his heart. He really had a heart to just help people, and he really wanted to become a part of the community. And he looked in many ways how he could do that. Right off the bat, he um, started shaping up people's bushes into cool characters, and he also gave dog haircuts as well as human haircuts. I thought that was really pretty cool. Edward was created unnaturally, but he was still created to love. And all Edward really wanted was to love and be loved. And I thought that was really beautiful and passionate. Edward, in comparison to the character on Frankenstein, the creature that was created by Frankenstein, they have some similarities in physical form where they're both um, physically, excuse me, physically looked at as different, and obviously they are different on the outside. But they both had like a heart where they wanted to love others, and I guess they wanted to people to see what's inside their heart rather what's on the outside, and they both really did not enjoy, I mean, who would, being attacked for their physical appearance. I mean, nobody would really enjoy that. I know I wouldn't. But I think they had a very different approach in how they reacted to that. Edward Scissorhand, I think throughout the movie, he kind of stood in like that gentleman role, and it took a lot for him to come out of character. For the creature in Frankenstein, he kind of lashed out right away, and he took the role as being a monster, and he kind of he internalized that. So I think there was like a huge difference with that. And plus, Edward Scissorhands didn't look as scary, I believe. And so also on the next slide, you can see Frankenstein. Frankenstein's creature is really scary looking, as especially how it's described in the book and in movies. He looks really scary. The only scary part about Edward Scissorhands really is his hands, which are not actual hands; they're scissors. And I guess his hair is a little bit disheveled, but that's everyone's hair when they wake up in the morning, you know? But I think Edward Scissorhands was easier to love because of that. Jim and Joyce rather, are both antagonists in the movie due to the fact that they both try their hardest to make Edward look bad, and they also belittle him. Joy, she's a character you can tell she has really low self-esteem, and the way she makes herself feel good is by trying to seduce men, and she tried to seduce Edward, but he really was not interested in that, made her really angry. And so she made that horrible, terrible lie that he raped her when in fact she did it. He didn't. Um, Jim, I think he also has low self-esteem, and he has some egotism about him where he really likes Kim, but she doesn't like him at all, and that makes him really jealous of Edward because she likes Edward. And so he tries his best to bully him, and I guess maybe make him run out of town because he wants Kim all to himself. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just going to my next slide. Okay, so Tim Burton, I think he's pretty cool. He makes really amazing movies, and they always have like this a lot of creation and creativity to them. I really enjoy his movies. Um, so I believe in this movie, Edward Scissorhands, Tim Burton is sending the message that through the characters Jim and Joyce, who are the villains, they're acting out in anger and hurt, and he's showing how when people act out in anger and hurt, they're not really angry. They're trying to share their emotions, but they really don't know how, so it comes out in anger. Um, their underlying causes for the way Jim and Joyce treats Edward, and even though there are underlying causes for the way that they treat Edward, and even though it's wrong, they justify their actions to themselves due to their hurt and anger. These two villains, in comparison with the villain in Frankenstein, who is the creature that Frankenstein created, they're pretty much acting out in the same context. The villain in Frankenstein, which is the creature Frankenstein made, also acted out in hurt and anger. He was so hurt that everyone around him, including his creator, um, disowned him and discredited him to be able to be a part of society. And that really hurt him, and he acted out in anger and hurt, just like um, Jim and Joyce. Okay. Kim and Edward's relationship is very important, I think, for this story because it gives a soft side to it. Um, it shows the effect of having just one person in your life that you can depend on to love you, no matter how everyone else treats you. If you just have that one person who supports you and lifts you up, it can just change your whole outlook. And I think Kim being there for Edward and just loving on him, and no matter what he looked like, she still cared about him and she still grew feelings for him. I think that helped his self-esteem to not be as low as the villain in Frankenstein, the creature, who literally had no one to love on him. And but I think the relationship is important because it allowed Edward Scissorhands to stay a gentleman and to show that no matter what he looks like on the outside, he's still going to be a loving person. So I think that was awesome. The director of this movie shows the ugliness of society, I believe. I think he's trying to portray the damage that can be done when you bully those who are different. The director is also trying to show goodness through this movie. For example, he shows that it's important to get to know someone before you dismiss them due to their outward appearance. It shows how those who may look different in society are usually very talented, like Edward Scissorhands, for example. He looked really different, but who can cut a bush up like him? Who can give awesome haircuts in such a quick manner and you look fabulous afterward? I mean, I think Edward Scissorhands was very talented, and I think usually those who are different from the norm of society usually have this awesome talent to them, and I think Tim Burton did a great job of showing that. And I think Edward Scissorhands as a whole speaks up for many different people in the world who are different from the norm of society. And I think Tim Burton shows the importance that those who are different are just as important as those who may be the same or who aren't as different as Edward Scissorhands. So I think Tim Burton does a good job of showing that everyone is important no matter what they look like. Okay, thank you, class. I know it was a bit choppy, my video, but I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you guys, and I can't wait to see your guys' video. See you guys on Populi. Bye.